How's it going? This is Hoiman, and I don't really feel like there's much to report on this week, just because there's just not really much going on in my life, I suppose. Like, sure, I worked a bit on my book this week. Did some cleaning around the house and stuff like that, but I just feel so lonely and isolated, like living with mental health and stuff, like it can make a person feel very lonely and isolated, and that's definitely what I'm feeling. And I've just been, in a way, I've just kind of been feeling that my whole life. Like, every day, I just get up, work on the book a bit, and then maybe, like, watch some TV or play a video game for about an hour. But then I just don't have any motivation after that. Like, I just feel like there's no excitement in my life at the moment. Like, it's like throughout the day I just feel really like I'm really craving something, but I just don't know what. And I just feel like I need to do something, but just don't know what to do. It almost feels like I'm trapped within myself, if that makes sense. Like, I just don't really know what to do, don't have any places to go, don't really have any activities to do, don't have any friends to hang out with. I mean, like, not even have anyone to just kind of like talk to, I suppose, but whether that be mental health or just other things, I guess. I just feel so lonely and isolated. And I say pretty much all my life is because it honestly just feels like that's how it's always felt. Like, even before I started having mental health problems when I was about 11, even before that time, I've just always had a lot of people just seem to just leave my life, it seems. Like, I remember when I started play school when I was 4, and for that whole year, I didn't really have any friends. I mean, not really. I remember there was one girl that kind of hung out with me, but from what I remember, she kind of just made fun of me more often than being friendly. And then when I started primary school, I mean, there were some friends, but whenever I did make like a good friend, they have to like move away to a different school. So every time I made a good friend in school, they'd have to move away. That happened about 3 or 4 times during the 6 years I was at primary school. So it's like every time I thought I made a very close and good friend, they just moved away to somewhere else. And that just kind of made me reset back to square one, I guess. And then things kind of got worse when I went to secondary school because all my, I wouldn't say like close friends, but just like classmates, I suppose, throughout the 6 years of primary school. When I went to secondary school, no one from my class was in the same class as I was. And one or two good friends I made were in completely different classes. So again, I, lost some more friends. And because I was the only Chinese person in the entire secondary school, I was just heavily bullied. So I dropped off school about, I want to say 4 to 6 months in. Dropped off, and that's when I started developing the mental health issues like anxiety and depression and stuff. At that time as well, my brother moved away to university, and I do remember growing up, I was like really close with my brother. We did so many things together, like play games and hung out and stuff. But he moved away to university, so he left my life for a bit, and then starting secondary school at the same time as well. Was everything was new. I'd lost all my friends and all the people I knew. I was heavily bullied, so you can see how this was like all these things coming together just made for a very, very big storm, I suppose you could say. But yeah, then I went through like about a year of not going to school because I couldn't cope. And then I started a special school for people who dropped out of school. And then I will say I did make some pretty good friends when I was at this special school because there was only 6 of us in a class. So it was very easy to kind of spend decent time with everyone. But then I went to that special school for about 2 years, and then circumstances surrounding my family and stuff happened. So when I was 13, we had to move away from my hometown, and we moved very far away to the Midlands. Because I used to live in Torquay, so we moved from the south coast all the way to the Midlands. And that was just like, again, I had to leave not only my friends and people I knew, but pretty much everything behind. That's when I lost contact with a very close friend from Torquay. And then, moved up to the Midlands and again just felt very isolated again, not losing, but just putting everything behind as I went forward to my new home in the Midlands. And then I started another special school in the Midlands, and I was there for about, I want to say 2, almost 3 years. And it was a special school, but it was quite bigger. So there was about, I want to say 20 students in the class. And then I'd say I started making a good friend. And then as I was getting to be good friends with this other kid, he again had to not move away, but move to a different class, because that was the whole purpose of that school, is that you transition between different classes when the teachers feel you're ready. So again, I lost another friend. And then after that, I never really made any proper friends at that school. I mean, not really. At the time, I'd say my closest friends were probably my two cousins at the time when I moved to the Midlands. I used to hang out with them and pretty much do everything with them. And then I started college when I was 16. So I couldn't really spend as much time with my cousins. I started college. For the first year, I didn't really make any close friends. Everyone was pretty much just classmates. Actually, no, I did make two really good friends actually, because we had a lot in common. And we even went to each other's houses and stuff. But then they just suddenly stopped going to college because I don't know what their reasons were, but they just stopped going. And again, I lost close friends. And then for the rest of the year, didn't really make any other close friends. And then the second year, so my first year when I was at college, my cousin was with me on that class. And that's kind of the time when I got quite close with him. And even to this day, I'm still quite close with him. But then for the second year of college, my cousin couldn't get onto the course. So I lost another close person going forward. But then I thought I'd made two really good friends at college, actually. Probably the best I've ever made, actually. There were two girls, but one of them was especially nice. Like, she started getting me gifts and just treated me really nice, I suppose. Like, I've never met someone who was that nice. But then, as the year went on, I started to notice that she kind of got a bit distant with me and started kind of isolating herself from me. But, I mean, long story short, basically, she developed feelings for me and wanted us to be more than friends. But the thing is, I told her very early when we knew each other that I wasn't really looking for any relationship stuff. So she knew that, but she still just started basically blaming me for just not returning the feelings and stuff like that. I don't want to get too deep into it, but basically, yeah, she just wanted more than friends. And when I said no, that's when I noticed she was kind of being very distant with me, was treating me nowhere near as nice as before. And it was just difficult for the next 3 years, because it's like, yeah, she was a friend, but at the same time it was complicated and difficult. And again, I just felt very lonely from that experience. And then when we finished college, we went our separate ways, and then I just never heard from those two friends ever again. So again, I lost some really close friends. And then for the next because I finished college in 2011, it is now 2023, so for the next 12 years. Within that time, the two cousins I mentioned that I was really close to when I moved up, they're adults now, and then they went to college and university and stuff, so they're busy with their own lives, so they kind of left my life. Well, not like in that way, but I wasn't really able to hang out with them much. I mean, I'd say I'll probably see them like 2-3 times a year, but yeah, other than that, for the next 12 years I've just not made any friends. Not really, not properly ones anyway. So yeah, I've just come to a point where I'm just always so lonely and so isolated. And thinking back throughout my life, I've just had so many circumstances where I'm always making close friends, but then they all just leave. So it's always like I'm just getting nowhere or going round in circles in terms of making friends and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's just so hard making real friends. Like, I know there's social media and stuff, but I don't really deal too much in social media, and with social media anyway, you end up just talking to people you have no idea who they are or even what they look like most of the time. And you can't really say that they're proper friends in that regard unless you really, really get to like talking with them and stuff. But I don't know, just growing up, I've just never really had long lasting friends. And now I find that I'm always lonely and isolated pretty much all the time. And like I said, I have no real places to go, no people or friends to hang out with. Yeah, it's just difficult. It's just so lonely, and living with mental health and stuff as well, sometimes it helps to talk about mental health with friends and stuff, but when you don't even have people to talk to, you just end up keeping it bottled up in your chest, and it really weighs you down. And it just becomes so hard each day, just keeping it bottled up with no real way to let it all out. I guess in my case, that's kind of the reason why I make these videos, I suppose, is to really let my feelings out and kind of document my journey, I suppose. But yeah, I know this video has kind of gone on quite a bit longer than how I usually do these videos, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about the feeling of loneliness and isolation, I suppose, and how it affects not only me, but a lot of people with mental health, I suppose. But yeah, if you watched all the way to this point, then I do appreciate you listening. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say, so I'm just gonna leave it at here for now until next week. So I guess that's pretty much it for this week, so hopefully I'll see you next Saturday. That's it for this video. My name is Hoiman, and please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. And remember, always look forward, keep hope alive, and remember, you're somebody.